No one told me last stream that I was peaking so badly. That the audio was just like out of control. I didn't know. I apologize. I apologize if I blew out anyone's eardrums. I was watching the video back because I was making a highlight video. And I was like, good Lord. I had to like, I felt bad. But there is a new highlight video up on our YouTube channel here. Be sure to go check that out. Go watch it. Go give it a like. You might just see yourself on there, okay? You might see yourself in the chat. I might make this a part of the highlight. I don't say, everyone say hi YouTube. Hi YouTube so that they see that you were there. You were in the moment. By the way, I noticed that a lot of the people who are watching the highlights aren't actually subscribed to the Red State YouTube. All right, so what are you doing? What are you doing? Click that subscribe button. Click that subscribe. It really helps us out. How is everybody doing today? Oh, you know what else I need to do? I need to fix the latency. The latency. Hi, YouTube. See, there's the pickled squirrel. Hi, YouTube. She knows what she's doing. There's Noob. All these people who are now immortalized on the interwebs, on the YouTubes. Same with Amtrue. See, hi YouTube. See, all these people are here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. What are you doing? Animal AK, you naughty, naughty people. It's Friday. Arguably my favorite day of the week. It's just getting started. You know, the weekend. We're not there yet. It's like that anticipation, you know? That anticipation coming on. It's multiplying. I'm sub to Red State. That Mentat, that automatically makes you literally, I think, according to science, 35% more attractive. That's just what happens whenever you sub to the Red State YouTube. Also, I'm way out of frame. There we go. Finer than frog hair. I like that. I like that a lot. We are winning. Amen. You got that tiger blood. The squirrel is forever. The squirrel is forever, man. The squirrel. Today we're going to talk about AOC. We got to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, man. She's one of those politicians that is probably way more important than you think. She's way more important than you think. She's way more of a mover and shaker than you might believe. And we need to talk about why. And in a surprise move, why she's more of a mover and shaker for us. I'm not saying this is some tinfoil hat conspiracy. She actually is a crazy leftist. But I'm going to tell you why you're probably going to be glad that she's around. She is probably far more useful to us than she will ever be to the Democrat Party. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Don Lemon. We're probably going to get to some Gen Z action when it comes to the workplace. I kind of want to talk about that. But first, we gotta talk about this because the internet is. You want to talk about something that's forever? Sometimes something comes along and it's just it's just beautiful. Chef's kiss. This is probably my favorite thing on the internet right now.
Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty.
How come no one's made a remix of this yet? Come on, internet. I don't want to have to do everything, okay? I saw that. I think I laughed for like 10 minutes straight. Whoever made that is a genius. And no, it wasn't me. I didn't make that one. I hate this so much. I laughed so freaking hard when I saw that. We need to talk about, let's see here. Here it is. Everyone saw this, right? Everyone saw this? It might be one of the, it's a telling moment. It's a hilarious moment. By the way, I've seen some conservatives, you know, people on the right, and I understand your position on it, okay? But this is a brilliant move by Alex Stein. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, why, that's dumb, dude, you're trying too hard. But then I realized why he did it. And it was actually a genius move. Alex Stein might be one of the more brilliant people in politics right now. If you miss the stream and watch it afterwards, it's called Remorse. Alex Stein thinks she's a mover and a shaker too. AOC wants an investigation into the Capitol Police. That does work for me. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Needs a beat and some synth. That's what I'm saying. Somebody with like musical talent needs to get on it. All right, this needs to stop. Needs more work for sure. Dude, this is one of the more brilliant moments on the internet. Twitter is free. Can you guys believe that? Twitter is free. Send it some good old prawn. AOC was with her boyfriend. Oh, wait. I thought she was, wait, didn't she get married? Or is she engaged or something? I thought she was engaged, or I thought she was married. Oh, well. We're going to talk about this. AOC freaks out over being trolled in public days after defending harassment of Justice Kavanaugh. Has any politician ever... But this is from Banshee, by the way, and it's up at redstate.com. Go to redstate.com right now. Everything I'm about to talk about is on the website, and you can follow along yourself. Also, sign up for the VIP program if you're not already a member. My tongue makes me speak English gooder. You can use promo code MORSE, M-O-R-S-E, on sign up. Get you a discount. Lots of great stuff behind the paywall, VIP, including more articles from yours truly. Definitely go do that. Has any politician ever encapsulated the rules for thee, but not for me? Mindset more than Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. For my money, she's truly the GOAT. No one manages to mix hypocrisy with faux indignation quite as she does, and the fact that she has an army of simps defending her makes it all the more laughable. Dude, too true. First off, I love Banshee's writing style. It's so good. But also, man, I swear, if you go after AOC online, eventually you will get mobbed by a lot of simps. It is a simp paradise for AOC. And I think that part of it is because, I mean, look, we can make fun of her looks all day if you want to, but I mean, as far as like attractiveness goes, she's not a bad looking woman. I will venture to say that she is one of the better looking politicians in Washington. And whenever you are a half decent looking woman, you're going to get sips. You're going to get some hop-ons, all right? They're going to go to the mat for you no matter what you do. You could literally stand in the middle of a field and you know, with a bunch of child molesters and say, you know, these are my people. And they will simp so hard for you. They will find a reason to make what you said pardonable. That's just the way it is. If you are a half-decent, attractive woman in today's society, you could say the stupidest, most arrogant, nonsensical thing, and there will be people like dudes, just these people who are just, oh my god, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes. Slay. The latest example happened on Wednesday after a comedian approached AOC on the Capitol steps, making jokes about her being his, quote, favorite big booty Latina, and calling her, quote, sexy. The correct term is taco. And I don't know why Stein is being so racist here by not referring to them as they are supposed to be properly referred to, according to Jill Biden. The Biden family, of course, being absolute experts on who is and isn't a certain race. As you'll recall, Joe Biden told black community that if they didn't vote for him, they weren't black. So, I don't make the rules. She responded in the video by posing and giving him a peace sign, seeming to enjoy the attention. Apparently, after the fact, someone on her staff let her know that the comedian was a, quote, extremist, though. That led to a quick change in tone as AOC took to social media to let it be known that this kind of public harassment is awful and should not be allowed. This is her. I posted a deeply disgusting incident that happened today on the Capitol steps, but it took it down because it's clearly someone seeking extremist fame. But it's just a bummer to work for an institution that openly allowed this, but talking about it only invites more. Just really sad. Here is the video he posted on the incident. I was actually walking over to deck him, because if no one will protect us, then I'll do it myself. But I needed to catch a vote more than a case today.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina. I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale. See.
Dude, this man's brilliant. This man's brilliant. The set that he's got on him is solid. For those of you who don't know who Alex Stein is, this is the same guy. He lives here in Dallas. And he got his fame by going to city council meetings and adopting these like weird whacked out characters, and he would just like make jokes out of everything in the Dallas city council room. And it honestly, he is a genius when it comes to making the left feel uncomfortable. I love it. So is this the Freaky Friday stream? Yes, it is. Fridays are fun streams. Problem is it's too early to start drinking. Says who? Just take her saying booty and put it over the guy with the hand drum and cat bouncing. Oh my god, that's so brilliant, actually. Maybe I'll do that. Sarcasm and snarky and writing works for me, laced with hypocrisy. She's no Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, dude, by far Tulsi Gabbard's, in my honest opinion, in my personal opinion, the prettier of the two is definitely Tulsi Gabbard. And I'm not just saying that because Tulsi Gabbard is, you know, not psychotic. It helps. Fedoras, zits, mouth wide open, simps. Dude, like I've been mobbed so many times on Twitter by her army that it's become almost expected. Like it's kind of funny if you actually look at it. Like I kind of like it when they get mad. Lowbrow, sorry, not a Stein fan. That's perfectly fine. I've seen many people say that they're not a huge fan of what Stein does. They definitely didn't like this moment. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine if you disagree with it. Personally, I think it's kind of brilliant. Because the whole point of what Stein is doing, he's not doing it just to be edgy. He's doing it to prove a point. And here's the point. AOC likes to pretend that she is one thing when she's actually another. Constantly. Right? That's what she likes to have outrage or feign outrage whenever it comes to something that she can utilize to make the right look bad. She doesn't even care if it's true. She'll just go off the deep end. Remember when she accused Ted Cruz of trying to kill her? Y'all remember that? She gets that extreme. Yet, she can actually do things that encourage the very thing that she says is horrible. She was asked on multiple occasions if she would actually denounce Antifa. I don't know if y'all remember back when that Antifa member tried to firebomb a facility, a border facility. And a reporter came up and asked her on like multiple times, do you deny the violence? Do you deny the violence? Do you deny Antifa's violence? Blah, 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 blah. She refused to say anything. She kept her mouth absolutely shut, would not denounce Antifa. And as the guy said, it's like, it's easy to say I denounce it. It's very easy, but she would not denounce it. She's the same person who's out there accusing Ted Cruz of trying to kill her, just strictly because he's on the right. And something happened during he actually, I believe, yeah, he was the one who was actually encouraging that people during January 6th who invaded the Capitol be punished to the full extent of the law. And yet, despite that, she accused him of being a person who tried to get her killed via the January 6th riot, which we're also going to talk about here in a second. So, I mean, it's just, it's kind of weird that you have this dual, I shouldn't say it's weird, actually. It's right on brand for extreme leftists like her. But she wants to be able to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to be able to say one thing is super, super bad while she does the exact same thing over here. And this is what Alex Stein was, I think, trying to prove. Because, and here's what happened. AOC said this. This is from Andy Campbell, said Politico clutching pearls today after a handful of unruly protesters targeted Brett Kavanaugh by standing outside during his steak dinner. Just an absolute terrifying night for Kavanaugh, who, quote, did not hear or see the protesters and ate a full meal but left before dessert. This is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, poor guy, he left before his souffle because he decided half the country should risk death if they have an ectopic pregnancy within the wrong state lines. It's all very unfair to him. The least they could do is let him eat cake, right? You can't harass somebody. It's horrible to harass somebody according to AOC, right? We just saw that up here. She was disgusted by it. But it's funny when it happens to Kavanaugh. In fact, it should happen to Kavanaugh. Poor Kavanaugh. Ugh. If you don't want to be harassed, then don't go against my political leanings, my political preferences. If you do, then it's okay for you to be harassed. But don't harass me, because that's horrible. That's wrong. She continued, I will never understand the pearl clutching over these protests. Republicans send people to protest me all the time, sometimes drunk and belligerent. Okay, right. Nobody cares about it unless it's a Republican in a restaurant. Can someone please explain the obsession, because I don't get it. I've never actually seen a Republican attempt to harm anybody. But I have seen many leftists attempt to harm politicians or random people just hanging out in cafes that refuse to, or they're not even refusing to do anything. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting there enjoying their night with friends and family. There was that one woman, I'll never forget it. There's one woman who was just sitting at a table and they were like basically telling her, raise your fist in solidarity with us. And she refused to do it. And so they started harassing her. They gathered around her, tried to intimidate her. I've seen Charlie Kirk get attacked. Candace Owens, I've watched her get attacked. Ted Cruz has been on multiple occasions harassed at a restaurant. I don't know, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But I don't know of any major stories where where right-wingers gathered together in a mob in order to harass and intimidate a leftist. If I'm wrong, tell me. Because I don't think I am. He is making a valid point. I'm just not a fan of his style, is what it is. AOC's drama llama, hypocritical baby. Yeah. I can dislike them both. Fair. Fair if you dislike them both. But I think that sometimes, and Susie, you might disagree with me. Sometimes I feel like this kind of stuff right here is needed. Sometimes I think it is. Because I think Republicans for a very long time have allowed the left to outdo them in the culture because Republicans were too above certain things. And I'm just not on board with that. And now, I think that Republicans should have a line that they draw. They should never become the leftists that they hate. But like little demonstrations, where's my finger? Little demonstrations like this one right here, I think are just fine. It's absolutely perfect. Because it highlights, sometimes in order to highlight a truth about something, you have to make it absurd. You have to take it to absurdity. South Park does it all the time. They make the Babylon Bee does it sometimes. You know, they just take it to absurd levels, and it highlights the truth by highlighting how ridiculous a situation is with fiction, you know. Does Alex Stein actually act like that, like in real life, like when he's not in character? No, probably not. I mean, I imagine he doesn't. I'm sure he has a twisted sense of humor, like many people do, but it doesn't make him a bad person. But I do think that sometimes this is necessary to highlight a point, and this point needed to be highlighted. They should never stop trying to highlight the hypocrisy of this woman. Call her out at every turn. Banshee said it best. To summarize, it's totally cool for protesters to harass a Supreme Court justice in public, causing him to have to escape out the back door of a restaurant. That's just democracy in action. And AOC is all for that. In fact, she's so for it that she'll make fun of anyone who complains about it. But if a comedian makes jokes about her on the Capitol steps, she wants law enforcement to arrest the guy, while she becomes enraged at the fact that the type of public protest is even allowed. Did you get all that? Here's the thing. This is a monster the left, including AOC, created. They normalized public harassment of officials because they felt it would help them politically. They didn't begin with Justice Kavanaugh last week. You can go back years and find instances where the left wholeheartedly supported the harassment of senators like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. How many times have you seen online, on Twitter or something like that, whenever Rand Paul trends, especially on Twitter, you'll see people all over the place. God, now I understand his neighbor. Where's Rand Paul's neighbor when you need him? You know, I wish he got shot in Alexandria. Like it's that level of horrific nonsense. Like that's just where it is at. And AOC, the person who would not deny or like denounce Antifa violence, is one of the people who is trying to normalize this. And what Alex Stein did wasn't even horrible as compared to what AOC promotes and allows. Brilliant move, if you ask me, by Stein. Brilliant. Ugh. And it doesn't get where this is. You want to talk about hypocrisy, by the way. AOC's hypocrisy. This is how out of control it is. I wrote this a little earlier this month. Y'all remember her little tax the rich dress, right? AOC wore the tax the rich dress to the Met Gala. It was everywhere. You know, the media couldn't stop gushing over it. And Republicans loved it. They loved it too. Because what is more a display of hypocrisy than showing up at the Met Gala, a place that is just filled to the brim with rich people. It's so opulent, right? And she is a rich person wearing a tax the rich dress at an opulent gala filled with celebrities, very rich celebrities. I can't think of a better way to highlight the hypocrisy. Guaranteed, if you were to go to AOC right now and say, we're seizing all of your assets so that we can distribute. Don't worry, we'll still give you some, but we're going to distribute it around so that, you know, a lot of people can have what you have. It's as per your belief. AOC would flip. She would lose it. She would start complaining about how, you know, the government is somehow this corrupt, that they can't allow people who work hard for their own stuff to keep it. That's what she would do, while still maintaining that she's some kind of socialist. The thing about socialists is that socialists don't actually exist. They don't. Every single socialist is a capitalist when backs are turned. If you were to actually hold a socialist at least ones that are in positions of power and wealth, if you were to hold their feet to the fire and make them back up what they believe, they wouldn't do it. They would fight you tooth and nail. There's no such thing as a socialist. I'm sure that many socialists think that, while they're poor and, they stand to benefit from getting free stuff because, the wealth is spreading around. They might think they're true socialists. But if they ever came into any money, they'd flip too. Socialism isn't about altruism. It's not about spreading the wealth around. It's about greed. Socialism is a greedy political ideology centered around seizing things that do not belong to you so that you can be a have. Not a have-not anymore. That's what it is. It is the use of government to legalize thievery. That's what socialism is. AOC made her fame off of that. She is a socialist. She's like one of the Democratic Socialist of America participants or members or whatever, and she has convinced a lot of simps that if she had her way, everyone would have equal richness and power. She would just have more because she's got to obviously rule the world, So she's got to have more. But you'll have just enough too, trust me. No, that's not how it really is. Mistax the rich is allowing fines to pile up over unpaid tax warrants. According to the Washington Examiner, AOC used to have a business in 2012 called the Brook Avenue Press, which focused on publishing children's books. I'm really glad this fell through. According to state records, New York dissolved Brook Avenue Press in 2016 thanks to the business going belly up. Despite the venture dissolving, AOC never paid the corporate taxes, causing New York to file a tax warrant in July of 2017, just 2 months after she launched her primary campaign against Rep. Joe Crowley. According to documents, she owed $1,618. Not a lot. Not a lot for her. The total has now swelled by 52% to $2,461 as of Wednesday. The Examiner has confirmed that the warrant remains open, according to the Bronx County Clerk's Office. Apparently, AOC is trying to say that this is a contested matter and that she's still working on getting this taken care of and wiped away. She thinks that the government is an error and that she shouldn't be paying this tax. But it's very interesting, right? It's just $2,461. Why not, why not just pay it? It's the government, and it's tax money. It's tax money. They can use that tax money to do all sorts of great things, right? Why isn't she just willingly paying it? Why is she so concerned about keeping her own money? And here's the thing about AOC. What's more, she lives in a swanky DC apartment. She drives a Tesla, and she illegally parks said Tesla when she shops at Whole Foods within walking distance of said swanky DC apartment. Any person who can afford all of that will likely balk at a measly $2,461. Besides, she seems very fond of taxes to boot. This is the same woman who wore the tax the rich dress and created the Green New Deal policy that would require taxes to be jacked up as high as 70%. So for a woman who wants taxes up that high, why is she fighting so hard to keep her money from the government? If she wants taxes, if she wants our money to go to the government because she thinks that the government will do well with it, why doesn't she just give it up to the government? There is no such thing as a socialist. If AOC truly believes what she believes, the taxes are truly the better way to society, then why won't she pay the taxes she owes? Why is she contesting these taxes? Is she saying that the government is an error for trying to squeeze that money from her? Why does she want to hold on to that money so badly? It's a question. It's a good question. I mean, does she actually appreciate having the money that she earned in her account? And not having the government come in and say, hey, that belongs to me? Does she actually not like that? I smell a hypocrite. So let's let's just make a list. We'll just go through this stream making a list. She thinks harassment is good, but she doesn't want to be harassed. Okay. She thinks taxes are great, but she doesn't want to pay her taxes. It's two instances of major hypocrisy right there. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seeks to strip the Supreme Court of its constitutional role. This is from Jerry Wilson. What's up, Brad? Socialism is for the people, not the socialists. Pickled Squirrel, you are 100% correct on that. I think that's a Mark Levin quote, isn't it? I think he's the one who said that. It's very true. It's called Rick and Morty. 5 seasons, I think. This is why I like the Second Amendment, Brandon. I still don't like taxes, but hey. Dude, if you know what, there's one thing that I've learned about America. The American government. That's more accurate. The one thing I've learned about the American government is that it does not like self-starters. I have been a contract worker for a long time, and every April, the IRS and I get into a big fight, and it is so stressful. They think that I owe them my house, my dog, my firstborn child, my soul. Like, they think that I owe them that because I'm self-employed, and I am so tired of it. I swear, the guy who comes in and says, if you elect me president, I will see to it that the federal government taxes you maybe 3% when you're self-employed. You're in. You got my vote, bro. They promise equal richness. What they create is equal poverty. Too true. Too true. Was it Margaret Thatcher who said she was talking to socialists, and it was one of the most banger moments? They were yelling at her about, you know, the rich and poor, the gap between rich and poor. And she says, you want everyone to be here, but in reality, it's more like you create this. Hang on, can we watch that real fast? Margaret Thatcher, taxpayer money. There's no such thing as public money. Is that it? No, here it is. Here it is.
I give way to the honourable gentleman.
There is no doubt that the Prime Minister has in many ways achieved substantial success in the economy.
By the way, I love the way that British politics works. I like that they just all like talk and like cheer and stuff like that. Why can't I want our politicians to do that.
There is one statistic that I understand is not, however, challengeable, and that is that over her 11 years, the gap between the richest 10% and the poorest 10% in this country has widened substantially.
That's right.
How can she say at the end of her chapter of British politics that she can justify many people in a constituency such as mine being relatively much poorer off, much less well housed, and much less well provided than it was in 1979? Surely she accepts that is not a record that she or any Prime Minister can be proud of.
Mr. Speaker, all levels of income are better off than they were in 1979. But what the honourable member is saying is that he would rather the poor were poorer, provided the rich were less rich. That way you will never create the wealth for better social services as we have. And what a policy! Yes, he would rather have the poor poorer, provided the rich were less rich. That is a liberal policy. Yes, it came out. He didn't intend it to, but he did. I give way to the honourable gentleman.
I'm extremely grateful. The Prime Minister is aware that I detest every single one of her domestic policies, and I've never hid that.
And I think that the honourable gentleman knows that I have the same contempt for his socialist policies as the people of East Europe who have experienced it have it for theirs. I think I must have hit the right nail on the head when I pointed out that the logic of those policies are they'd rather have the poor poorer. Once they start to talk about the gap, they'd rather the gap were that. Down here. That. Not that. But that. So long as the gap is smaller, so long as the gap is smaller, they'd rather have the poor poorer. You do not create wealth and opportunity that way. You do not create a property-owning democracy that way.
You know what would be awesome? I would love to get Maggie in a room with AOC and just have them debate it out. I would love to be, if I could bring her back from heaven for just like an hour, I'd have Maggie versus AOC. That would be my one wish. My one wish. I can't say it any better than she said it right there. That is the whole socialist platform right in a nutshell. They would rather the poor be poorer and the rich be poorer than actually have equal opportunity. They would rather you sit in poverty if it means that the rich people are just a little less rich, which, by the way, nowadays, even a rich person being a little less rich, they'd still be mega rich. They would still be out of this world rich. You would just be poor. And we're seeing it right now. Do you think that in this inflationary period that the people who make millions of dollars or even billions of dollars are feeling it? Do you really think that they're suffering that badly? No, just us. We're the ones who are primarily really affected by it. But this is the policy that the left has instated. This inflationary period is something of their creation. Why would I want to vote for that? Come on, Brandon, you know full well that she doesn't park the car herself. Her Tesla does that for her. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I want a Tesla so bad. I want a Tesla so bad. By the way, this is the whole thing. This is just AOC's Tesla, a company she's denounced illegally parked at Whole Foods. She parks it illegally at Whole Foods. This is. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? I think we got disconnected there for half a second. I think we got a little disconnected there. Let me just check real fast. I think we're good. I think we're back. Okay. Buy a Tesla, Brandon. I own stock. Dude, I would love to have a Tesla. The only issue is that I love having a truck, you know? And Tesla's truck looks like it's a PlayStation 1 version of a truck at the moment. And I hate the way that Tesla's truck looks. I hate it. Like, it drives me absolutely crazy how it does. It looks like a 16-bit truck. You remember those trucks from like the cars? What was that game on the Sega Genesis where like you would you'd go through the loop-de-loop in your car? It's like that level of polygonish looking nonsense, and I don't want any part of it right now. It's a shame how much modern Brits hate her. Dude, she was so brilliant. You see why they call her the Iron Lady? Dude, Maggie is the bomb. But that's one of my favorite clips of her whenever she's talking about socialism. Few minds would be changed by it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you're in AOC's camp, you're going to stay there. If you're an AOC simp, you're not getting budged. But still, it would be cool. I mean, the independents, Republicans, stuff like that, we'd have a field day with it. I don't think AOC could actually articulate a debate against someone like that. Dude, that's why she refuses to go to debates, and I hate the fact that no one calls her out for that on the left. Nobody. Ben Shapiro wanted to call her and be like, or not call her, but like just be like, hey, he offered her, hey, to come and have a debate with me. We'll sit down, we'll have a chat. I think who else did that? Oh man, someone else tried that too, but Ben Shapiro was the most famous one. And she turned around and made the excuse that he was catcalling her. What? She's too scared. She's too scared to go out and actually debate somebody. Which, shouldn't that be exhibit A as to why she very well might be wrong? And maybe we should be a little bit more cognizant about the fact that maybe she just doesn't know what she's talking about half the time. That's just me. I won a 1950 Ford F2, just like the one my old man had. My brother used to get old trucks, yeah, and he used to fix them up. It was actually pretty cool. We weren't really gone on my end to begin with. Oh, okay. It said that the stream was interrupted on my end. Tesla trucks remind me of vehicles from Escape from New York. I have not seen that since I was but a child. I will always drive a manual. Dude, I miss driving a manual. I really do. I had to swap, especially after I got married. But man, do I miss driving a stick shift. 16-bit trucks. They do. They look like 16-bit trucks. There's a company that makes electric trucks, but I don't remember the name. I'm not I'm not actually interested in getting a electric truck at the moment. I'll just stick with fuel for the time being until they become way more capable of transporting cargo. I don't want any part of it. Wasn't AOC right-leaning in her college years? Was she? I know that there were some people who were more right-leaning before they became famous as socialists. I think Anita Sarkeesian was one of them. Anita Sarkeesian was actually a normal person from what I understand. And then she found out that being what she is today made her money. Not anymore. But I think she sort of like really went nuts. What is this?
That was so crazy about that incident is not even that it happened, but that it happened on the Capitol steps.
Oh, hold up. I didn't see this. This just came across my feed.
Crazy about that incident is not even that it, but that it happened on the Capitol steps right in front of a Capitol police officer. And this dude was engaged, like this wasn't about a political opinion, protest, or anything like that. He was engaged in very clearly sexually threatening, aggressive behavior right in front, on the Capitol steps in front of an officer. And he wasn't even asked to take a step back. Like, this.
Hold up.
My favorite tamale. See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She went.
Okay, so this is where he is. He's a solid distance away, right?
To kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
She moves closer to him.
I love it.
Once she starts moving closer,
Tina.
He moves closer too.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo! I love it, AOC. Hot like a tamale. See.
That hot like a tamale at the end gets me. All right. So she's complaining that he was back there. She actually starts moving closer to him. And she is saying that he is sexually threatening her. He didn't make any kind of aggressive gesture.
The officer was just cool with it. And it.
But what was the officer going to do in that moment? I don't understand. What was Stein doing that was actually threatening at that moment? And also, again, you move toward him.
Just like, I really just can't help but think about all of that footage and evidence that we saw the day of all these Capitol police officers helping and being sympathetic to the insurrectionists on January 6th. And everyone just decided it was too politically difficult to deal with. So they all just brushed it under the rug. And to this day, there has never been an investigation into that. Never. So as a result, we have no idea which officers are safe to be around. We have no idea if any of those officers and the ones holding massive weapons were with that crowd or if they weren't. But if you raise questions about that, or if you don't feel safe, it's construed as you attacking the entire institution of public safety. Riddle me that. Riddle me that.
Riddle me that.
And we saw a lot of that show up,
Riddle me
not
this,
just in our politics
Batman.
now, but even the State of the Union. Because now both parties are in a contest of how much money they can shovel in this system without critically holding any of it accountable. It is dangerous.
Okay, so that... I need to move on to this. AOC suggests January 6th was an inside job. Kind of led me to this. In deranged, self-absorbed rant. I'm guessing this is what Bonchi is referring to. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been making headlines all day. On Thursday, after she was heckled the night before on the Capitol steps. As I wrote in my original write-up, a comedian filmed himself joking about AOC being his favorite big booty Latina, sending off a firestorm as her online simps jumped to attention to defend her. Of course, while AOC gnashed her teeth, suggesting that the comedian should have been arrested just days ago, she mocked Justice Brett Kavanaugh and did her thing. So
these insurrectionists,
like Antifa,
and that there were actual officers working with this, and we never got to the bottom of that, and we never got any answers about that, and then to this day we're just supposed to pretend that that never happened.
What about Antifa?
I have no idea what happened to the people on the inside who were very clearly sympathetic with what was going on and opening the doors wide open for that. And I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like none of that ever happened, and then right afterwards you have a massive, you just have this idea that throwing money at that problem is going to make it go away without any accountability. And so this is where these things are breaking down. We're not safe. And it's not just about members of Congress not being safe. The food staff workers aren't safe. The janitors aren't safe. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this. So that's all I got to say.
What about Antifa?
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Antifa, please.
Okay, I'm confused. I'm kind of confused at the moment. She is saying, yeah, exactly. Cernovich tweeted it. She is suggesting that January 6th was an inside job. So does she have insider information? And if she does, why isn't she being called as a witness? Also, here's another thing to think about. If officers were inviting people, and they are working with, and they are inviting people into the Capitol, does that make the narrative that it was an insurrection completely moot? Because technically now they're invitees. Right? So, I mean, I feel like AOC is kind of disrupting the entire narrative, the Jan 6 narrative, just by suggesting that. She took an IQ test and it came back negative. She will never debate anyone with a different opinion, Robert. Logic and facts would destroy her. It doesn't take much to kind of highlight how ridiculous many of her claims are. Again, same woman who claimed Ted Cruz tried to kill her on Jan 6. She couldn't run a greasy ant's go-kart around the inside of a Cheerio. Massive weapon is sexually threatening language to me. AOC, that's true. Riddle me this, Batman! The moment she found out this guy was mocking her, her eyes lit up with Twitter likes and retweets. She's a narcissist to the fullest. Robert, I'm going to explain that this is actually her superpower for the left. That's one of the things, because there's a real reason that AOC exists, and it's not to be a congresswoman. Classic line. I agree, Robert. On a side note, her dress has pockets, and I love... See, Natalie and I both know. Her dress has pockets. I swear to you, no matter what they're wearing, if you talk to a woman who is currently wearing a dress that has pockets and you say anything about the dress, it doesn't matter what the context is, anything, the immediate response is, thanks, it's got pockets. Women are so stark. That's the true. You want to know where the true sexism lies in our society? It's the fact that women don't have pockets in almost every outfit that they have. Even some of their jeans, they're just fake pockets. Ladies, I'm so sorry. I want to apologize on behalf of this misogynistic United States of America that has not put pockets in your clothing. I am so sorry, ladies. Pockets for women. Huh? Hashtag pockets for women. I'm with you, ladies. I'll march with you. Something for Twitter and push defending the police for more division on another day. Yeah. It's always been a pet peeve of mine when people assume someone is stupid just because they disagree with them. In her case, though, she really is a dullard. Here's the thing about AOC, and something that needs to be understood about AOC. Do I think that she's an idiot? Part of me thinks that, yes, she absolutely is. At least she's very ignorant about her own job and the way the United States works and stuff like that. I don't expect everybody to be an absolute expert, but if you are in office, if you're a congressperson, then you should know some things about how the United States works. I think that she does, on a much deeper level than she lets on, understand how the United States works. Her point, though, isn't to be a functioning member of Congress. It's not. That's not the purpose of AOC. The purpose of AOC, and we just talked about it earlier, is to generate an army of simps and sway the youth vote toward the Democrat Party. That is her entire purpose. And it's to push these radical agendas through someone who can connect with the youth. And we talked about this last time. When it comes down to voting, the youth can't be relied on. The youth, despite the fact that they are the most charged when it comes to politics, that they get out there and they're the ones who are most likely to march or create memes, videos, to have podcasts and stuff like that, they are the least likely group to go out and vote. But that's not the point. The point is to get them so politically charged that they're willing to talk to people in their everyday life about it and sway them through pressure, intimidation, just to keep up with the cool kids, that kind of stuff. AOC is a figurehead when it comes to that. She is a walking, talking PR machine. That's what AOC is. That's her true purpose in Congress, is to attract the younger crowd, to get them riled up, to sell them on the socialist agenda, to sell them on the Democrat agenda, to not just do that, but also paint the right as villainous, as horrible people, as just the worst of the worst. That is her entire point. She knows how to use the internet, and she knows how to use it well. When it comes to that regard, AOC is brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. She's manipulative. She knows how to manipulate people. Okay, she knows how to use the internet to her advantage, and she's not afraid to be called out as hypocritical. She's not afraid to be openly cowardly. She's going to have a bunch of people. She can say, no, this isn't, I'm not a coward or a hypocrite. And then people, despite having that information right in front of their faces that she is, will go along with her. And then the people who aren't looking too far into this, and most of the youth aren't, are going to hear other people defending her, and they're going to jump on board to defend her too. That's her true purpose. I mean, if you look at her congressional record, it's lousy. She's never created a bill that anyone's voted for. Or at least all her bills failed. From what I understand, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's actually missed quite a bit of votes. I could be wrong. But that's what I've heard. Like, she doesn't really show up that often to vote. Because her point isn't to be a congresswoman. Her point is to be a walking, talking PR machine. That's what it is. This is why people say, oh, she's such an idiot. How did she get elected? Because she's very good. Not only is she a relatively attractive young woman, all right, she is a hard radical leftist, all right. She got elected in a place where, like Nancy Pelosi said, if you were to slap a D on a glass of water, that glass of water would probably get elected. All right, so, you know, any other place, do you think that she would be elected? Probably not. She probably wouldn't survive long. But, I mean, she's perfectly positioned to be a... She's not going to suffer because she's an idiot in her district. So she can act like that. She can be that PR machine that the Democrats need her to be without suffering any kind of blowback. Again, I mean, they'll vote for AOC no matter what. Doesn't matter what she says or does. They'll vote for her. Blindly. Your allyship is noted. I'm there with you. Hashtag pockets for women. Hashtag pockets for women. That's why Miss Animal wears jeans. The pockets wear jeans. Don't trust jeans. Yeah. Viva la cargo shorts! I am with you on the cargo shorts thing, man. You know, cargo shorts have apparently, they were out. I had cargo shorts, nothing but cargo shorts, and my wife made me throw them out after a while. She doesn't let me wear them anymore. And my wife and Liz Wheeler teamed up against me and made me throw out the cargo shorts. True story. Red State should market a tactical dress in the upcoming... Oh my God, that's such a brilliant idea. Thick enough to carry, like, magazines. Not just pistol magazines, like AR magazines, like in the pockets of the dress down here. I don't think she has a mind of her own. She's told what to say. I think that you are correct. I think that but here's the thing. She's not being told what to say by the Democrat establishment. Because you have to understand that AOC and the Democrat establishment are actually two different groups. I think that she does have a group of people that she does take advice from, she does listen to, that tell her what to say. I do think that. But I don't think it's the Democrat establishment. The Democrat establishment originally wanted to bring her on for the purpose of reaching the youth. But now, as I'm about to get into, AOC has made it more complicated for them as time goes on. I watched the whole stream. She did not play Among Us. It was cringy. Oh, she did play Among... Oh, she did play... Yeah, I watched that stream too, actually. And I actually wrote about it. That stream that she did. She was with, like, Pokimane, Hassan, Dr. Lupo. Who else was there? Moist Critical was there. I was like, ugh. I was actually very disappointed. But I will say this. Moist Critical, I don't think that he was actually in it for the fame. He actually seemed kind of like meh about the whole thing, and he was actually ready to jump out pretty fast, from what I understand. Dr. Lupo also said that if things get too political, that he had the right to jump out anytime he wanted to. Although he did get into a fight with some of his chat over it. But yeah, it was pretty cringe. That whole entire thing was pretty cringe. But it just goes to show you, man, that's her job, is to go out and reach people. Don't think, just act. Don't think, just feel. Whatever you do, don't think. Don't think. Yep, John's right. John's nailed it. She was raised in a suburban upper-class neighborhood, too. Oh, yeah. She went to a nice school. She likes to pretend that she came from poverty. She didn't come from poverty. Call her anything, and she will just claim you want to date her. I think that from here on out, if AOC responds to anybody on the right, which she does quite often, just say that thing back to her. He's not going to date you, AOC. He's not going to date you. She's not going to date you. Just hit her with it. Good point, Brandon. Look what slapping a Dion Kamala got. Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Liz Wheeler? Yeah. Liz Wheeler. Liz and I are friends. And she and my wife got onto me because I love wearing cargo shorts. I just think cargo shorts are the best. And both she and my wife would give me all sorts of grief for wearing cargo shorts. Eventually, they convinced me to throw them out and just get new shorts. Ilhan Omar for one. Go figure. Ilhan Omar is of the same group. The other crazy lady that shaved her head and really hates the police. The squad in general is just... They're all of that same group. And here's the funny part about AOC. They originally wanted AOC brought in because she would be able to connect better to the youth in this age, right? We have crossed over into a new age. The establishment Democrats did not, they are not very good at reaching out to the youth. Bernie Sanders had an in, but even he needed the help. That's why he continuously approached AOC. And by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this, but AOC and Bernie Sanders at one point in time had a falling out. They invited AOC in order to take advantage of her ability to connect with the younger generation, the internet generation, okay, the millennials and Gen Z. That's what they wanted her there for. But the thing is that when you invite, you ever heard that's the snake and the frog story? You know? Or is it the scorpion and the frog? The scorpion and the frog. Yeah. The story goes is that there was a frog and a scorpion on one side of a creek. The scorpion wanted to get to the other side, and the frog could get across. So the scorpion asked the frog, "Hey, can I just ride on your back and you can swim across?" The frog says, "No, I'm not going to do that. You're going to sting me." The scorpion promises, "Oh, I'm not going to sting you. I promise. I promise I won't sting you. Just take me across." Frog eventually agrees. Scorpion gets on the frog's back, and the frog starts swimming across. Midway through the creek, the scorpion stings the frog. The frog starts to die, and in his dying breath, the frog, as they're both drowning, the frog says, "Why did you do that?" And the scorpion says, "It's in my nature." Well, this is exactly what's happening. The frog is the Democrat Party. The scorpion is AOC. All right? AOC it could not help but sting the Democrat Party because she is a radical. She's not part of the establishment. She's a radical, part of the Democrat Socialists of America. And despite the fact that she was brought in to be a friend, she eventually turned around. And then when I say eventually, it was almost immediately, really. Turned around and started stinging them back. All right. She started to bring them down. She started to make them back. Like, I remember whenever she first got elected and she was like part of her first meeting with the entire Democrat Party or something, AOC threatened moderates and said, if you don't get on board with what I'm doing or what we believe, we're going to primary you. And she kept her promise. She started primarying Democrat establishment politicians left and right. And they were afraid of her. They were afraid of her. And because they were afraid of her, the Democrat establishment started to cave, to kind of give way to this radical leftism that had infiltrated the party that had brought in that radicalism in order to connect with the youth. So now you have a Democrat Party that is increasingly radical, increasingly leftist, increasingly losing touch with the American public, because they had brought AOC in to help them. The thing is that I don't know, they backed the wrong horse, is all it is. That's what it is. They invited in a monster into their home in order to, fight their opponents, and the monster ended up eating them instead. The GOP civil war is going to happen because, or not the GOP, I'm sorry, the Democrat civil war is going to happen between the groups of the establishment and the people that AOC has brought into the party, has attracted to the party. They shot themselves in the foot. When you dance with the devil, you got to pay your due at some point. So AOC was, in a way, revitalized the Democrat Party, but it's also going to be the same reason that they get brought down. It's like taking steroids. You get stronger, but eventually you're going to crash. What's wrong with cargo shorts? Dude, I don't know. I always found them super useful. I could put stuff in them. What's a ute? Speaking of, where is old Bernie Sanders? Apparently, there's a group that supports him. We talked about this in a former stream during the Civil War stream. The Democrats' Civil War stream. It was my nature, yeah. I say we send Brandon cargo shorts as a baby shower present. Dude, my wife would flip and I would laugh my ass off. Good movie, pickled, LOL, really movie. Yeah, that was a solid film. Unheard of meeting between Nancy and AOC. Funny to see. God, they hate each other so much. They try to pretend like they don't, but AOC and Pelosi are just like the worst of enemies. They've got to pretend they're buddy-buddy. They're just not. Did y'all remember that magazine cover with Pelosi, like, laughing it up with the squad on the cover and all this stuff? That was like, you can just... From the cover, you could smell the hatred. It was hysterical. I love that stuff. No one was buying it. No one was buying it. A fox and a scorpion? I don't remember that. They backed the wrong horse. Bruh! Where else can you keep an emergency diaper? Like, exactly! True! True! See? Cargo shorts, useful, especially when you're a dad. It is funny how the press who wails over anything Lauren Boebert and MTG say can never find anything critical of AOC or the squad. It makes you think, don't it? Makes you think. Wonder why. Send Bernie Sanders and Brandon cargo shorts. What would Bernie Sanders do with cargo shorts, bro? He's got an army of helpers to help him carry around whatever he needs. I need the cargo shorts. I'm just an everyday man. I don't have 3 homes that are worth over $1 million. Okay? I don't. I've got a computer rig and a green screen. That's what I got. Bernie is at the tailor getting his birthday suit tightened. I hate the fact that I have such a vivid imagination that whenever somebody says something, I picture it in my head. I can't stop myself. And now, I don't even want to tell you guys what I'm thinking about. Mainstream media is dead, Brad. Why do you think all of us are here? Too true. Too true. Speaking of Gen Z, can we talk about Gen Z for a second? Jeff Charles wrote this awesome piece. I hate the fact that chat resets whenever I do the close-up thing. Gen Z workers seek to bring activism into the workplace. This is also a side effect of the radicalization of America. But despite the fact that they are trying their absolute best to do it, it's also going to be, just like AOC, one of the reasons that this movement will end in I think sooner than later, to be honest with you. I think within the next 3 years, you're going to see a major turnaround about how we think about woke culture, what we think about social justice. I think that they're pushing too far. It seems that politics has seeped into almost every facet of American life. True. Everywhere you go, it shows up like a horror movie villain, impossible to escape. That's a good way to put it. The truth is becoming increasingly ubiquitous in the workplace, especially among younger professionals. In fact, a recent survey revealed that more of those belonging to Gen Z wish to meld their political activism with their work life. That is such a bad idea. I cannot, and I'm not just talking about for the workplace. I mean, if you can't get away from it anywhere that you go, if you can't put it down everywhere you go, you will be driven crazy. I mean, you look at these people, these college students who are avowed social justice warriors who have melded themselves with woke culture. There is something mentally wrong with them. And it's not like they were mentally wrong with, like, to begin with. I mean, according to people who know them, and I've heard these stories many times before, and you can even hear it from people who left the social justice movement after they were kind of woken up and red-pilled. You know, they go in normal, and they go into this university like a normal kid, and then they come out like colored hair with shaved heads, piercings and tattoos. They might be morbidly obese at that point. Like, there's something that happens to them that makes them emotionally and mentally ill. There is something that just like drives them absolutely nuts. And I don't know what it is. And I've been saying this for a long time. Science needs to study Like, scientists need to get on this. There has to be some sort of mental effect, like detrimental mental effect, that takes place whenever you fully embrace social justice and woke culture. Something happens to you that makes you borderline retarded. Like, and I mean that, like, by the actual course of the word. Like I'm not sure what it is, but something happens to you. It's like, I've seen this kind of behavior in other people who have suffered some sort of emotional trauma. I had a friend who, she wasn't raped, but what ended up happening, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. She wasn't AR'd, but she came very close. A guy broke into her home, and she woke up to him standing over her. And it was her roommate that chased him off. You know, eventually got him to like, scare. He left out the window. It scarred her emotionally because, like, you know, you're a woman in the house. The home is supposed to be your safe place, your bedroom especially, and all of a sudden it's been infiltrated by a person who means to do you some sort of irreparable harm. And so it scarred her emotionally, and for a time, she eventually got over it and she returned back to normal. But for a time, she would do things she would do the colored hair, the shaved head, like, she would do these weird things to her own body. And I was like thinking, I was like, man, I'm watching college students who do it, and I can't help but think about that girl. And I'm like, there's got to be some sort of emotionally scarring thing that happens to you when you accept social justice as your primary lens through which you see the world. Because if you look at it, I mean, like, their bodies are absolutely they like mutilate themselves. They make themselves unhealthy. It's like they're punishing themselves. It's the weirdest thing. And I really do. I think that, like, psychologists, scientists should definitely get on studying the effect of woke culture on the brain. I'm not just saying this as a guy who is a libertarian conservative. I'm saying this as a human being who is seeing a very hardcore problem. It's something that affects people mentally, and, like, it needs to be exposed. A survey conducted by Skynova, an online software company, revealed that a significant percentage of those born between 1997 and 2012 believe prospective employers ought to be aware of the political causes in which they are involved. The company received 765 responses from potential employers under the age of 25 and employers averaging about 46 years of age. Skynova's study showed that 46.3% of Gen Z respondents believed including activism on your resume should become more acceptable, compared to 28.9% of employers who agreed. Additionally, 37.1% of Gen Zers indicated that it is vital for employers to be aware of social justice movements important to employees, while 48% of employers said the same. Even more noteworthy is that 34.6% of Gen Zers said that they would likely turn down a job if the potential employer, quote, did not share beliefs about social justice. Among employers, 19.4% said they would reject an application for the same reason. The survey's finding, is this not, at least on the employer's part, I can't help but think that that would break some sort of law. Not that I don't think that they shouldn't be able to do that if they don't want to. I think that they should. I'm that kind of, laissez-faire capitalist, but I feel like, that's discrimination, right? And I thought discrimination was bad. The survey's findings also showed the type of activism Gen Zers are willing to include on their resume. The majority, 55.3%, said that they would put, quote, volunteering for social justice organizations on the document, and 42.9% indicated they would, quote, include fundraising, involvement in, quote, awareness campaigns. There it is. I was waiting for that. Awareness campaigns. That's what they consider activism nowadays. Awareness campaign is just a fancy way of saying, I sat online in my bedroom with my phone and I tweeted out hashtags and attacked people who disagreed with me. That's what they consider awareness campaigns. also ranked at 31.4%. That is slacktivism. That's just slacktivism. Keyboard warriors, with participating in protests at 26.9%. Participating in protests does absolutely nothing. Have you ever had your mind changed by a protest? Not kidding. Have you ever watched a protest happen and thought, "Oh, they make some really good points," especially in modern times? Because I haven't. In fact, they make me turn off more to the cause than not. I mean, the March for Our Lives, Black Lives Matter, the Women's March, the Slut Walk, all of these protests never did one thing to make me think that they were right. In fact, they just made me think that they were more wrong. They solidified my position. When it comes to movements that Gen Zers would identify with on their resume, equality topped the list at 54.3%, with racial injustice slightly trailing at 51.8%. About 48.8% of respondents chose Black Lives Matter. Of course they did, because it was the most popular one. It's trendy. It was trendy. While 48% selected climate justice, the climate march, also trendy. Super trendy. Joe Mercurio, creative strategist for Skynova, shed some light on the poll's findings. When asked why almost half of Gen Zers feel it is necessary to include activism on one's resume, he noted that this generation has, quote, been increasingly vocal about the importance of their employers' values matching their own, end quote, and that they might be seeking, quote, an employer who shares those values. In essence, it appears to be part of an applicant's vetting process. They want to be sure that the potential employer espouse similar political beliefs, quote, and including their activism on their resumes. They're ensuring their future employers are aware. This is such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. For two very obvious reasons. For one, it's not good for the person to work in a place where everyone just believes what they believe wholeheartedly. And I mean, given I say that and I work at a conservative website where we pretty much are all conservatives or libertarians, but at the same time, we disagree on the way things should happen. So it's disagreement is good, but they don't allow disagreement. These young leftists, they don't allow disagreement. If you disagree, then you're a Nazi, you're racist, you're horrible. There is no talking it out. There is no debate. It's just look at y'all remember we watched this just the other day. I think it was the last stream. We watched that woman at the hearing, that Berkeley professor. And all Josh Hawley did was ask a question, and then he was called transphobic and accused of inciting violence against people just for asking a simple question. That's what we're looking at. That's what these kids are taught to do. So there's that. You're just going to end up bubbling yourself in this company that does not allow any other thought than you're effectively creating a tiny California. Just bubbled ideology that does not let anything else in, anything that does not pass the smell test for these hard leftists is immediately ejected out of the bubble very quickly. Doesn't matter who they were, how long they've been there, or what. They have to go. And they take over these companies from the outside. And let me tell you something. The other reason you don't want to have this happen to you is because Git won't go broke. It should be literally page 1, chapter 1 of the Better Business Practices Handbook. Git won't go broke. Chapter 2. Mass layoffs. Victoria's Secret is going broke after making the mistake of going woke. I wrote this not long ago. This is from the New York Post. Shares of Victoria's Secret tumbled on Wednesday after lingerie giant said it's laying off 160 management-level employees at its Ohio headquarters. The fired workers in management roles represents 5% of Victoria's Secret's home office headcount and will save about $40 million, the company said. Shares fell 4.3% to $26.80 on Wednesday. There are a lot of reasons that why a company is losing steam right now. I mean, this is an inflationary market. It's pretty bad. But I mean, like, if you look at the pattern, let's take away the inflationary market for a second. You look at the pattern. Companies that tend to rely on or inject politics where it doesn't belong tend to start suffering monetarily, fiduciarily. Like they start to slow down, and they start, as far as sales go, money making goes, popularity goes, they start to slow down significantly. Now, what did Victoria's Secret do? Victoria's Secret's been through a lot. You know, I believe that it did go through, like, I think its CEO was accused of some Me Too stuff. But they also, and of course the inflationary market, but they also, what did they do? They got rid of the thing that they were known for, which was making lingerie that is not just sexy, but empowering for women. That was their whole entire thing. They were empowering women through their femininity. All right? If their clothing they were making wasn't comfortable, it was sexy. And of course, they charged a huge premium for it. So, you know, that also added to the, I'm sorry, ladies, I'm calling y'all out for this. That also added to the fact that women wanted it more. It was more expensive than other lingerie. They turned away from women. They embraced Megan Rapinoe as one of its primary models. All right, they put a transgender dude as one of their models. They stopped the Victoria's Secret fashion show. They got rid of the angels. All the things that made it appealing, that femininity, that beauty aspect, that elite beauty aspect that women so enjoyed with Victoria's Secret. Bye. In order to embrace modernity. When you embrace modernity, especially when you're embracing modernity and modernity is attempting to erase women, why would you want to participate in buying anything from them as a woman? They just lost their appeal. Why go for them? It makes no sense. It was a bad business move from the very beginning. But again, they had a whole bunch of people go in there, start working at Victoria's Secret, who believed this nonsense, who wanted to embrace social justice, who to embrace woke culture. And whoever, I don't know how they did it, but they go and they convince these people, in order for you to survive in this modern era, you have to embrace the politics that I espouse, or else. Many companies got scared and they caved. And they brought on more people just like these people threatening them. So now, Victoria's Secret is going down. The ship's going down. They went woke. They're going broke. That's just the way it is. That's why it's such a bad idea. Businesses don't cave to Gen Z. Don't cave to Gen Z. They're not. Let me rephrase that, because I'm making Gen Z sound like they're all idiots. They're not. I know many Gen Zers who are just absolutely lovely. They're very intelligent, and they're just as common sense driven as you and I. Don't give in to the politically fanatical of Gen Z. Don't do that. If you do that, you will go woke, you will go broke. Just as night follows day. What's up, Kurt? I would throw their resume at the trash at the second glance. Yeah, same. But, I mean, they would want you to. I'm so glad I don't have any employees. Don't forget these applicants demanding pay without using vacation for any days they take off to support their political social agendas. Oh yeah, and you have companies who are increasingly going, hey, we'll let you do that to go out and protest. I think Twitter did that. I think a lot of Silicon Valley companies did that, where they were like, hey, today is a day of protest. Schools were doing that, if I remember correctly, like public schools. If you want to go out and protest, then go out and protest. Dude, you've lost your minds. I've never been to a protest, just haven't working, I guess. I've been to many protests, but I've never, I don't know. I've never gotten anything out of it. And I've been to protests both on the right and the left. I need to say that. Been on both the right and the left. I've been at counter protests. It gets intense. And in the moment, you really think that you're doing something. You're not doing anything. We not only allow, but actually encourage concealed carry in the workplace. Second and fourth Tuesday of every month, we sponsor lunch at the range day. Sign me up, bro. Yeah, I know. Go figure. Priorities, values, ethics, morals. Yeah. Professor. She teaches your kids, that woman. I'm telling you, defund the universities, man. Defund them. Either you agree or you're a phobe or some type. Yeah, and they don't, I mean, like, they are so good at creating online mobs, and slowly we're learning that online mobs mean jack shit. Disney, DC, MCU, to name a few. I won't watch sports anymore or any related channels. How about that Ripaverse, huh? He's still making that money. I can't wait to see what he comes out with. Eric July. That's going to be awesome. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, DC and MC, Marvel Comics, obviously they've gone stupid woke and no one's reading them anymore, right? Effectively, the American comic book industry is dead. And then Eric July, a YouTuber, comes around and he's like, I'm going to create my own comic universe called the Ripaverse. And a little over a day, he made over $1 million, and he is still getting all sorts of donations to start this thing up. I can't wait to see what he produces, man. That's going to be awesome. Good for him. Shows you that people are still willing to read comics. They're still willing to engage in that escapism, so long as you can deliver escapism. No politics. What's up, Elric? How you doing, man? They had great public relations. The Angels and all that stuff worked great. It was awesome. Men loved it. Women loved it. Like, obviously for two different reasons, but it was like a big deal. It was part of what made Victoria's Secret so elite, you know? And they just stripped it all away to embrace modernity. It's like chopping off your own legs to please others. Like, why? Like when McDonald's went from burgers to salads to wraps. I don't know. I don't eat McDonald's. The one time I ate McDonald's, I threw away the hamburger, and I was starving at the time too. I had like no money. I had $0 in my account. And I was like, I had like $1 in my pocket, like a physical, like maybe $2. I had $2, yeah, in my wallet. And the only thing I could afford was like a $1 menu burger. And I went into McDonald's and I got like the $1 menu cheeseburger. And I ate about half of it. And like halfway through, I just went, I can't eat. This is the grossest thing I've ever put in my mouth. Tossed it out. I was like, I'll just go hungry. Pickled Squirrel, you have a great weekend too. I'd really appreciate it if Brandon got a green chair so it could look like he's just floating there, swinging back and forth. Wait, hang on. Wait. Is that better? Oh, you can kind of see it. Oh no, it's coming up. Whoever diggeth the pit shall fall in, be buried in it, Bob Marley. Wise words. Wise words. He would need a lightsaber then, Robert. I mean, if someone... I would love to have a lightsaber. Okay? And I want one like of those good ones, too. Not like some cheap lightsaber you buy at Target or Walmart or something. I want one of those ones that, like, they sell it on those websites that specialize in making lightsabers. Those are so cool, dude. Did you guys know that there's a lightsaber, like school? You can go and you can learn to fight with a lightsaber? Ripaverse for the win. Good stuff. Dude, I can't wait to see it. I need a pre-order today. Last day to pre-order. Get on it. Go to the Rippaverse. Go check out Eric July's Twitter. Go donate if you can. Go pre-order. Man, I can't wait. 1.7 miles as of 5 hours ago. What? I'm going to check that out. Rippaverse got some #1 issue. Good. Good. It's a 98-page #1. Dude, I'm so ready for it. Now you need a green microphone. I kind of do. Look at that. It's like you can kind of tell the ghost of the chair is behind me. Guys, that'll do it for me. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me on this Friday. Go to redstate.com. Everything that I've talked about is there. Go sign up for the VIP program. Use promo code Morse, MORSE on sign up. It really helps us out, and you get a lot more free content. Or not free, but it's content behind the paywall. Be sure to like the stream. If you haven't already, please like the stream and subscribe to the Red State YouTube. It really helps us out. And follow me on Twitter at @TheBrendanMorse. Also, I'm really putting a lot more attention into my Instagram now. I've kind of scaled back on Twitter in order to embrace the Instagram life, because apparently that's where Twitter's dying. It's gonna die, I think. So follow me on Instagram. On Instagram, I am @TheBrendanMorse Live. Go follow me there. Go follow me there. I post updates all the time and little clips for you to enjoy. In the meantime, I will see you guys on Monday. Unless you want to see me on Sunday, which is twitch.tv/TheMorseCode. Go check me out. But other than that, enjoy your weekend. Much love to you all. Peace out. Bye.